Now voters, don't you treat me this way. I'll be back on my feet one day. Well, I guess if you say so, I have to pack my things and go. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to part 3 of What You Don't Know About Joe. Subtitle, What If? What's going on, America? Kevin from Kevin's Corner coming at you with part 3 of What You Don't Know About Joe. Because see, the way I see it, before you gonna rush down to those polls, fight against possibly contracting you know what, according to the Democrats, because we got to change everything around and make it a real loose process. I don't know about you, but I think as long as I got breath, I can manage to get down to the poll. I mean, I could full-blown be having the shakes, the shivers, vomiting, pooping all over myself, but I would crawl down in November just to go kick it before I let the Democrats get back in office. They talking about something we need to go ahead and pass out all. No. Leaving room for y'all to be sneaky like y'all always are. Now, with that being said, I got to bring up somebody else who's been sneaky. I might have to add this one to his title. He might be called Sneaky, Creepy, Sleepy, Slimy, Sloppy Joe. Yep, I have to throw in sneaky now because I managed to go back in time, check out some stuff that maybe some people didn't know about Joe. So, before we go down there and vote in November, I think we should know who we're voting for, right? Because what we want to do is vote for an upstanding, honest president that if we were to trace his life, we'd be able to relate to it and we'd find out, you know, that this person, they was down for the struggle and all of that good stuff. But I'm wondering if that's what we're going to find as we travel back in time and check out Creepy, Sleepy, Sloppy, Slimy, Sneaky Joe. So, with no further ado, let's get it.
Democratic presidential candidate Joseph Biden today faces a controversy. 3 weeks ago at a debate at the Iowa State Fair, he used phrases identical to those delivered by British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock.
Biden seemed to be claiming Kinnock's vision and life as his own.
Why is it that my wife, who's sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Gladys the first woman in her family, in 1,000 generations, to be able to get to university?
My ancestors who worked in the coal mines in northeast Pennsylvania don't come up after 12 hours and play football.
8 hours underground, and then come up and play football.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
There was no platform.
Okay, now, I mean, I'm watching that. I mean, it could have been a mistake that Joe just happened to be quoting this man from another country word for word. Now, I know the internets weren't back then, and if you want to look something up, you had to go down to the library and use microfiche, which nobody knew how to use. He was probably thinking that, hey, man, you know what? I mean, this dude's way overseas. Ain't nobody gonna remember this dude's speech. I can go ahead and use it and get busted. But you know what? It's just a one-off. Let's see what happens next.
Upon which they could stand.
The notion that every thought or notion or idea you'd have to go back and find and attribute to someone, I think is, quite frankly, ludicrous.
The problem here is that Senator Biden told his audience he'd just been thinking about these things, and he failed to give any credit at all to his famous British speechwriter.
You know, I was thinking on the way over here. Now, that's a little too much, because, as you point out, what's behind the words? What's there? And a lot of people, the rap on Biden has always been that it's just a surface.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, and all the times I've ever used it.
But CBS News found a tape of a second instance.
It reappeared in the New York Times with a new charge. that Biden had appropriated a famous litany from the late Robert Kennedy about what the gross national product cannot measure.
It cannot measure the health of our children,
The health of our children,
the quality of our education,
the quality of their education,
the joy of their play,
or the joy of their play.
Biden gave Kennedy no credit. He has also quoted or paraphrased John Kennedy, Hubert Humphrey, and British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock, all without credit.
Joseph Biden admitted today that he committed plagiarism when he was in law school. He said it was a mistake, but that it was unintentional.
He quoted 5 pages of someone else's work without proper citation.
I've done some dumb things, and I'll do dumb things again.
He was given an F.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been dumb.
To the political community in Washington, it all seems of a piece. Plagiarism at law school, plagiarism on the stump.
The great community.
Say what? So wait a minute. Joe Biden, creepy, sleepy, slimy, sloppy, sneaky Joe, was upset with these folks that was doing their job, calling him out in regards to him using word for word someone else's speech, which in his mind, he's like, I don't see what the problem is. I mean, look, to come up with the idea that every time you refer to somebody, you got to get them credit for it, in my opinion, is ludicrous. So what Joe was trying to get all of us to believe, along with the people back then, was that he was just simply thinking about that speech when he got up and repeated that speech word for word. Now, I've heard many, many speeches in my life. My brain is pretty, it's decent, you know what I'm saying? And I'm able to take bits and pieces from the speech, the main stuff, big topics, but word for word, line for line, unless he's Rain Man, unless he's a savant that we don't know about, which as we listen to creepy, sleepy, sneaky, slimy, sloppy Joe, he's no genius. He's no Daisy. That's for sure. So Joe Biden not only gets caught once, but he gets caught twice. So then he rips off Bobby Kennedy. See, now you know what? See, this is an indictment upon creepy, sleepy, sloppy, sneaky, slimy Joes. Like just simple intelligence, awareness, decision making. Yes, you got away with the first one because the dude was overseas and somebody got hold to it. But Bobby Kennedy, everybody loved Bobby Kennedy. I mean, as soon as you opened your mouth, I'm sure everybody was like, that sounds like Bobby Kennedy. I mean, that would be like me getting out there and doing, you know, Abraham Lincoln or, you know, Martin Luther King, and everybody would be going, that sounds like Martin Luther King's speech. And this man thought he could get away with that. And look what Joe has to do now is tuck his tail between his legs and come out and admit that I'm stupid, dumb, creepy, sleepy, sloppy, sneaky, slimy Joe.
Strike that. The great imitator.
You don't steal verbatim, or when you do, as he did 99% of the time, you give credit.
Biden's critics say he sells himself as a man whose words and visions can inspire a new generation in politics. But if the thoughts, phrases, and visions really belong to others, it's a form of false advertising.
Is it a wise idea, though, to take something that personal, anyway, from another politician and try and appropriate it to your own campaign?
I think it was a stupid thing to appropriate material that was really very personal, that was someone else's.
Most people didn't know who he was, you know, Joe Biden, and now they're going to say, oh yeah, he's the guy who plagiarized.
That's a lot of people.
Politically, that's devastating.
These clips are devastating. He looks like a Joe Biden wind-up doll with somebody else's words coming out.
If they're going to do things that are stupid as well as immoral, then they're probably too dumb to have the job of president.
Voters are going to have to decide whether he was dishonest or dumb.
Wait a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to travel back in time, put my nerd glasses on. Hello, I'm Kevin from Kevin's Corner. I'm back in time when the media actually did their job and was very aggressive in regards to creepy, sleepy, sloppy, slimy, sneaky Joe. Obvious, as we just heard, Joe Biden had the nerve to plagiarize.
One, don't you feel dumb? Two, look at you.
My colleagues around me are seeing it exactly like I'm seeing it. Dumb, creepy, sleepy, sneaky, sloppy, slimy from Senator Biden. And unlike me in the future and the rest of all those liberal medias out there, we're doing our job by calling him out as a dumb, phony, fake, plagiarizing, making bad choices candidate. And he should not win the presidency. His career is over. See, that's back when folks was real right there. Did you hear these folks? I mean, these were commentators on liberal networks, and they was just giving Joe the business, which he deserved. Every blow to his ribs verbally was well deserved. Every chin check from these commentators were well deserved. Now, what we have to ask ourselves is, what if Donald Trump had all of this historical footage of him running around repeating other people's speeches? But it don't stop there. Because, see, Joe got this crazy, wild imagination like all the Democrats. They have to have these wonderful backdrop stories so they can relate to the common man. You know what I'm saying? They got to pander to all those common people as they rip them off while they're in office. So let's check out Joe's pedigree. All of these wonderful accolades he deserved and won all these awards. Let's get it.
Senator Joseph Biden may have more explaining to do.
The new questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and, in fact, ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 120.
Now, did y'all hear that? Joe Biden was busy, man. This dude. Now, that's a guy I can relate to and get behind. This dude got a full ride scholarship. And even though he was way disadvantaged behind the 8 ball, he worked hard, got to college, graduated in the top half of his class. I mean, not only did he do all of that, but this man earned not 1, not 2, but 3 degrees. I'm impressed. I'm about to go down and vote Joe Biden. Because after hearing that, I relate to a guy like that. He speaks to my inner man. He speaks to my middle class experience. I can relate to good old common Joe. Whew, man, I'm glad he gave us all that information because, you know, with all the lies and the plagiarism and the fake stories about Mandela and all that stuff, I was about to be like, you know what, I ain't messing with Joe. And then he gonna come out and tell me all of the stuff he accomplished. Whew, hey, thanks, Joe. Let's go ahead and finish learning what we don't know about Joe.
3 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School. I mean, this guy comes off this whole thing as a flyweight.
Now Biden says Newsweek is right. His memory had failed him.
And I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours if you'd like, Frank.
Joe Biden was victimized by the truth.
Man, just when I thought it was safe to go into the polls and vote for creepy, sleepy, sloppy, sneaky, slimy Joe, he gonna go and tell us all them lies. My wonder is, has he changed? Is he still lying? I mean, can I trust anything the man says? Now, remember, understand, we got all these networks out there fact-checking Trump. He done lied, what, 13 million times in 7 seconds. But yet, creepy, sleepy, sloppy Joe went negative across the board on all those lies. My man just straight up threw stuff out there as if they can't fact-check that. I'm thinking that speaks to your intelligence, Joe. I know right now in your old age you're suffering mentally, but I can't contribute that to that. That's back in the day when you knew what you were saying was a lie. And to come out and say, well, oh man, hey, I forgot. You forgot about all 3 of those? So let me get this straight. Got a scholarship to college, full ride, but you didn't. It was partial. Graduated in the top percentage of my class, but you didn't. It was in the lower percentage. I'm talking like very low. What else? What was the third one? And let's see. Oh, and graduated with 3 degrees, but you didn't. You graduated with 1. And you touted it real confidently. Man. And got busted. Now, how can we trust anything that creepy, sleepy, sloppy, sneaky, slimy Joe ever says moving forward? Where are the fact checkers now? Where are, you know what? Darn it. See, they're making me do this. I don't want to have to do CNN's job, MSNBC's job. I mean, I'm too cool to be a nerd, but I got to ask, excuse me, Mr. Sneaky, Creepy, Sloppy, Slimy, Sleazy Joe. Years ago, you went 0 for 3 on lying about your pedigree. Could you please explain why you lied and then lied again about the lie when you told everyone you simply forgot? Nothing? Okay. All right, let's continue.
Bye-bye Biden. He may not know it yet, but I think this is going to be very difficult for him to recover.
Is Joe Biden dead meat, yes or no?
I think so.
Bob?
It's in terminal condition.
Terminal. Eleanor?
Yes, unless he comes in 3rd in Iowa.
Morton?
Dying.
I say dead. We'll be right back.
Now voters, don't you treat me this way. I'll be back on my feet one day. Well, I guess if you say so, I have to pack my things and go. Y'all hear that? That message goes out to Joe. But then, after watching what I just watched, that lady summed it up and said, yeah, I think this is the last time we're going to be seeing Creepy, Sleepy, Sloppy. It's time for him to hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back. No more, Joe. Now, it's part 3 of everything you need to know about Joe, or what you don't know about Joe. Yeah, and then, of course, at the end of each one of these, you have to ask yourself, if you're a liberal or someone voting for Joe Biden, is Trump that bad? I mean, do we have overwhelming footage of all of these lies in Trump's past? I mean, surely they would be talking about these every single day on the liberal media. But instead, they make up stuff, whereas we can just simply watch what he said and did with our own eyes and ears. You make the choice. Anyway, God bless. Don't forget, check me out every Wednesday night live in Kevin's Corner on Facebook, YouTube, and my radio blog talk show. Don't forget to make sure you're still subscribed and that your notifications are turned on to all. Check out Extreme Teas, my sponsor. Links below this video. If you like their products, put Kevin in the promo code. You'll get a 20% discount. If you want to donate to Kevin and Kevin's Corner, feel free. There's a link in this video to do that as well. And we'll see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. God bless.